Hi guys, how have you been? So welcome back to another video. Welcome back to this channel. Feel free to share, subscribe, follow, and yeah, karibuni sana. Attention the other day, and I'm going to share it exactly how it came to me, and it came in form of 3 examples. And today we're going to label this. Trust the process. Trust the process. So the first example is, if you've been to Nairobi, you've seen when the Chinese are making the roads. And sometimes it takes a long time of us kufungiwa barabara and jam and us having to go through some funny roads. And then eventually, funny enough, when they finally unveil the roads and you're free to pass in them, the first questions that people ask, the first question that actually everyone asks is, kwani ilitengenezwa lini? When was this made? And it's like you're seeing something completely new to you, despite the fact that all along ilikuwa inajengwa ukiwa unaiona. All along, you knew that a road was being constructed there. And it's so funny that it usually seems at the end of it as if it's something that was just taken from somewhere else and planted there. Yeah. The next example is the other day, sometime back, like a month or two ago, I went to my grandmother's home. We had a function there, and so we went there. And one morning, as I was passing, I saw this orange tree that had been planted years prior. Like it had been planted when I was, I think, either in primary school or in high school. And it grew and got to a certain point and then just stopped. And it used to have these small oranges, and it actually grew to a certain height, like it was so short, and it used to have these small bitter oranges. And I will notice it frequently because it was next to where there was a tap where we would fetch water. And there was never really much to eat. And so the other day, now this morning when I'm passing by, I actually had to stop and look at this tree, because for some reason it's like I was noticing it for the first time. You see, it had grown much taller, and like it was no longer stunted, and it seemed to have bigger oranges that were actually more oranger, if there's a word like that. And they were actually good to eat, like they were actually sweet to eat. And this was so astonishing to me, because for me, ungeniuliza, I never thought that there was any more to that tree than I used to see back then. And so it surprised me, and it's like God was impressing it on my spirit, like, given time, anyone or anything can become something. Like, we have to learn to trust the process, and we have to learn to trust timings and seasons, and we have to learn to trust that our lives are going somewhere. The same thing that we've been talking about, purpose. And it's like sometimes we tend to so give up on issues and circumstances and people so quickly, as soon as we see as if nothing good can come out of it. And sometimes when you do that, we actually miss out on the greatness of that issue or that person. That example that came to me was of this pastor who uh, I used to know when I was little. By now he's passed on, and this man was called by God, and he had this amazing walk with God. And he used to go to places like Stage Matatu, and he will go to just people's homes and sometimes talk to the men. And it seemed like it didn't matter to him whether they were drunk or whatever, and he would actually just call them to come to church. And I remember the other day, my mom actually telling me that sometimes he would actually go with them to like crusades and bring them to church when they were still tipsy, but it didn't seem to matter to him. But I would imagine to anyone else who was looking on, it seemed funny. So this now years after this pastor has passed on. And so one day as I'm seated in church in the evening, and it occurs to me how like beautiful this church is. It's like so so grand, even on the inside and on the outside. And it occurred to me that the person who actually championed the building of this church, the person that God used to talk to people and to kind of tell them to pull resources to bring this work to pass, was actually one of those men that that pastor used to bring to church along with him. And so this is so many years later that this pastor is not there to see it, but it is from a seed that he planted that we now get to have this beautiful church. I wish I could insert the picture here. I hope I will. But this was so amazing for me to see, because sometimes the process is not so nice, and sometimes the things that we go through to get to where we're supposed to go to are not so nice. It's like a woman who is pregnant and is waiting for her baby to come. The pregnancy process is not so nice. It's not the best process to be, the best period to be in. Sometimes it's hot for you when it's cold for others. Sometimes you're uncomfortable at night. Sometimes you do not want what other people are eating. You want to have something else. And it's so uncomfortable. But at the end of it, when she actually gets the baby, it's so amazing and she forgets the whole process. Yeah, she actually forgets what she had to go through to get that bundle of joy. And now it seems like it's all worth it. So I can assure you, I can assure you that the process that you're going through right now, as long as you stick it out, it's going to all be worth it at the end. So let's refuse to get comfortable in misery. Let's refuse to just have a bad attitude during the making, because it's actually the making, it's actually the making, if you can call it that. It's actually you being made into exactly what you're supposed to be, and the situations being orchestrated to get you to exactly what you're supposed to be. So what am I trying to say? I realized that when I saw these three examples, I realized how similar they were to the life that we live. And sometimes the process of getting to where God intends you to be is not so nice. And sometimes we are tempted to give up. And I'm sorry if you can hear sound behind me. There's actually a construction going on. And sometimes it's not so nice. Sometimes the process is not so nice. But the moment that we get to where we're supposed to be, it shall all make sense. So I wanted to tell you all, one, learn with me to trust the process, and actually hold on, hold on. The best is yet to come. Sometimes it might not seem like so. It might seem like there's nothing that is going to come out of all this. But the best I can assure you is God still has so much in plan for you. God still has so much to show you and so much to bring to you. But you have to trust the process. You have to not give up, and you have to uh, believe, even when it seems so bad, that one day things are going to get better. So that is all for today. God bless you.